This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons, like Omage Cat Comet, Saray Cypher, Hans Grenade, Anna Ginteres, Bob Cece, Faris Gentoru, Cletus Oreo, Luke Leon Etrell, Sapa Chakwatol, Courtney, Circa Barakil, Casey Schaefer, Lily Black, Chaitan, Cheshire Soul, Tiri, Erisu Yamakawa, Cecilia Fulalirafu, Daimos, Nina Grimsdaughter, Asuta Starbreeze, Quick Levin, Sayori Snowfall, Ignal the Dragon, Uana Nitsa, Miscellaneous Cargo, Duke Jarlsberg, Stella Bell, Thora Aurora, Boogie Bear, Remy Asalia, Cirrus, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, CNG Lipscomb, Dalamud Papoto, Kaisa Regina, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, and Velina Evensong. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 158. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston and Malav Anadar.
Hello.
Okay, whew, the overlay is correct. Everything's good. We're good.
Look at the jar.
Don't acknowledge the jar. Welcome to episode 158. Today's main topics will be a Gamescom Q&A, the lore panel that Yoshida and Banri Oda attended at Gamescom this week. On Friday, it was yesterday. Wow, it's only yesterday. It's very fresh. For once, we have fresh news.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, and we'll also talk about the Rising today because it's coming very soon. So there's also been a dev blog sort of shedding some light on what to expect. Stay tuned for the post show because I don't know. You know what the post show is. Oh yeah, we were talking about maybe doing the reading the thing. Maybe we'll discuss it right before the post show. So we're very well prepared for that. Right, I guess we'll just jump into recent events. Right. So, The Rising 2019. Oof. The Rising is one of my favorite events because it's usually always different. It has to be different because it's like a message from the devs for that year.
Gives you something to try and decipher as well, something to speculate on.
Yes, right. It's also...
This is probably not going to be as big as last year's.
No. Last year was quite spectacular. So, and it was celebrating 5 years, so of course it was big. This year, 6 years, it's not a big number, and it's a big number. It's bigger than 5, but
it's not as important.
Yeah,
not a milestone.
Right. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to be fun. We're probably going to see Yoshi-P. I wonder if we'll actually see Yoshi-P. There's usually 2 characters that are Yoshi-P. There's in-game Yoshi-P and fourth wall-breaking Yoshi-P. The Wandering Minstrel and Yoshi-P. In the artwork, there seems to be just the Wandering Minstrel and...
No glasses, or he's taken his goggles off in his hand, which is obviously very prophetic.
And he's doing like, and the...
some sort of slut.
Some Mikote lady wearing...
She's a Moonfire Fair attendant.
Yeah. And message in a bottle.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Maybe
and obviously Costa del Sol in the background.
Yeah, Costa del Sol.
That's where it's taking place.
Yes. Right, so there was
Is this the first event that's set in Costa del Sol that's not the Moonfire Fair?
I would be digging my memory banks there, Georgi.
That is a very... I can't remember if there's been...
You can't just spring something like that on us.
Was the dragon... No, that was in Thanlon, wasn't it? So... The 11 event.
was...
Oh,
That was there. Yeah. The one with...
Yeah.
I can't... Oh, God. Don't forget her name. I forgot her name. YouTube comments rip me apart.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's been a while. Okay, I'm going to read the...
Iraha.
That's it, yeah. Thanks, chat.
I'm disappointed in myself. Okay. Hello, hi there, adventurers. This is from the dev blog, Pirate. Redrina here, still climbing the tower in Costa del Sol for the Moonfire Fair. Oh yeah, remember to do that because that's going away soon. The summer festivities are winding down and will end on Monday, 26th of August at 2:59 p.m. GMT. So be sure to participate while you still can.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's reset.
Once the Moonfire Fair concludes, it'll be time for the Rising. And this year we'll commemorate 6 years of Final Fantasy XIV and a look back on our journey.
Hooray!
Yeah, so that's
Yay.
August 26th, 2019 at 3 p.m.
Monday?
GMT to
anyone
September
watching live?
17th, 2019 at 2:59 p.m. GMT.
It's open for a long time. It's
Yeah,
3 weeks in a day.
Yeah. Isn't that
yeah.
like a usual for...
I feel like it's a long time for the Rising.
I want to say Moonfire Fair has been shorter. It's only been a little bit longer than 2 weeks.
That's true.
And that has stuff to do.
Well, this is
so
a more
than-
important one.
Yeah, true.
So I guess that's why.
Mm.
This year's illustration has a lot of warm colors, which is perfect for this year's theme. I won't spoil too much, but let's go over some of the event details and rewards. It's kind of funny. The quest begins on the island near Costa del Sol. The Moonfire Fair attendant... What? Excuse me?
Pobbiano?
Pobbiano.
Or
Yeah.
Pobbiano?
Mikote lady appears to be cleaning up after the fair, and that's where you come in.
Oh, God.
Looks like she'll need help cleaning up the shore. One of the items you come across turns out to be a message in a bottle, which unravels the story for this year's event.
That's a pretty neat way of introducing it.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
really horrible for the Warrior of Light / Darkness to be cleaning
Yeah.
the shoreline.
We're just a humble adventurer.
Yeah. We got who sits and what sits galore. So fun. I'm sure it'll be an easy enough feat, but you'll need to wait for the event to learn what exactly you'll be looking for. After looking for the Heart of Sabik. Is that what we're looking for?
Don't even.
After completing the initial quest, you may find more bottled messages scattered on the sands. You can deliver them to Pobbiano to receive Rising tokens. As always, let's check out this year's event rewards.
Will the messages be different each time? Is that the thing this year where it will be like
a
for the
puzzle,
little
like-
ladies? No, like for the Little Ladies Day event, how when you handed out the flower crowns, you could get a random cutscene. Will the message be different each time?
Well, that would be
I hope
interesting.
there's like love letters from Uriange and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I don't want that. It'd make me sad.
Yeah. No mention or no pictures of the Wandering Minstrel. So
No. I feel like that's the most spoilery thing in
it's
the
not
event.
spoilery. He's in every Rising event.
No, but like to say what the context he's going to be.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So among the rewards, quite surprising. Well, not this one necessarily. Well, you get we get a minion of the new Y'shtola or Shadowbringers, the first Y'shtola.
That's the third Y'shtola minion?
That would be
Yes.
the third one, yeah. But the biggest kicker here is that we get patch 4. So I was wondering why we're getting this artwork. I didn't actually read what the patch is. So it's basically just Stormblood. You get
Yes.
patch 4.1 to 4.5 artwork oil paintings. From Liberation to Requiem for Heroes, you can display your favorite patch art pieces in your home. Be sure to collect them all. It says be sure to collect them all, so there's definitely something repeatable for some repeatable currency or token that you need to exchange for them. But they also make fireworks from previous years available.
And including A Realm Reborn Red, I guess, which is always nice. The theme of this year's event is from someone somewhere to all adventurers. I'm assuming the message in a bottle might be from the Wandering Minstrel.
Oh
yeah. I don't know what he'd want to tell us by our message in the bottle, but
the game ends in 6.0.
I'm drowning.
Send help, I'm drowning. That's a nice thing to send in a bottle. People find like 2 years later.
Maybe it's messages from people from 1.0.
Oh.
And it went adrift like...
Yeah, I guess.
They do acknowledge that. What happened last year?
That's true. That's the first time. They might... I don't know. I don't know what to expect, actually. But why would they... most of the player base wouldn't even know who they were.
Yeah, but like it's still interesting.
Yeah. Message from 1.0. This game is shit. Like, hello, I'm stuck in Limsa cutscene. How do I progress? It's just like tickets, support desk tickets from 1.0 that you read.
Oh, that'd be good.
Thank you for being part of our world, and we hope you enjoy the Rising. Right, there you go. I mean, nothing can top last year's Rising.
Who knows?
But I'm glad that they're not just repeating it, too. That was what I was afraid of, that they would just do a repeat. They might do it next year, though. They might do it on the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We might see it come back then.
Which by then, it's been 5 years since the event, so I wouldn't care.
Yeah. It would be nice if you could go into that instance every Rising, but... It would make it less
it would make it, it would take from the experience.
We can be glad we were around for it.
Yeah. Right. Not much to say, but that's all we know. Looking forward to that. That's starting
it's only on Monday,
so
we'll talk about it next week probably.
Yes. Right, now we're going to jump into some a few interviews. Very short interviews, but there's been some sporadic is this all from the same website?
They're all from Twinfinite, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna throw shade or anything, but could have maybe made one article instead of like 4 different articles from the same interview, maybe, and stop teasing the full. Yeah, but they're teasing the full... Sorry, we can't go into that. But like, they're teasing the full interview at the bottom of every single of these articles.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming by the time you've read through all of these short ones, you've already read the full interview. You've literally just read copy-paste sections from the interview.
Maybe they have the most amazing, like, lore dump in the main interview.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you think that it's all gonna be done, but then they drop the
like,
I see, yes.
It's like Game of Thrones when George R.R. Martin told HBO the ending just in case anything happened.
Yeah.
Yoshi-P told Twinfinite the ending.
Yeah.
Reveal it just in case.
I know why, I know why, but it's like, come on. You could have at least made it 2 articles instead of 4. Anyways, devs working to remove barriers between data centers is the first one. This is Twinfinite. Maybe we should post the link. Do we have a link?
Go on, George.
Okay.
The World Visit system recently implemented in Final Fantasy XIV allows players to travel to servers within the same data center, but the team at Square Enix has its sights set on a larger goal. At the moment, players from servers included in different data centers cannot play together. Yet, during an interview at Gamescom in Germany, director and producer Naoki Yoshida told Twinfinite that this could change in the future. While the physical data centers will remain, the team is looking for ways to break the barriers between the data centers, allowing us to play with everyone else regardless of server and data center. That being said, this is a very challenging task. Developers are discussing internally how to make this possible from an engineering point of view. Unfortunately, it can't just magically happen, but they're working on it. While it isn't guaranteed that it'll work, they have some ideas on how to make this magic happen. According to Yoshida-san, they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and he encourages fans to wait for further news on this. To better explain the concept, Yoshida-san doodled the sketch below, and I think I'm sorry, audio listeners, but this is a treat for our video viewers. I'm gonna let me.
What's the other North American one? It's Primal.
There you go.
Crystalline.
There it is.
Ether.
He's written an E, hasn't he? Okay.
Yeah. So
Ether.
it's very nice. It's very nice, Yoshi-P.
I assume E stands for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's why it's full of like the most circles.
No, but on the NA one, he's got the 3 in like a triangle with all the circles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
P, C, and E.
The 3 big circles marked JP, EU, and NA are the physical data centers for the 3 regions. Within each circle are the logical data centers like Crystal, Ether, and Primal in North America. The big circle on the bottom right marked E represents what we have now. Oh, one enclosed logical data center in which players can freely move between servers. What? Represents...
I don't really understand what that means.
The first step, right. It's... Why does it say that what we have now? One enclosed logical data center in which players can freely move between servers. Oh, that's like what the servers look like.
Yeah.
Now.
Maybe.
But we already
Okay, so the picture shows E for Ether, apparently.
Yeah.
And then there's a bigger diagram of Ether, which has the 8 worlds that are on Ether.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
He should have used a different data center for that.
Yeah. The first step the development team is planning to take is breaking the boundaries between logical data centers. Yet those boundaries are very solid, so they'll need some magic, again, to make it happen. The ultimate goal would be to remove the boundaries between physical data centers, for instance, between North America and Europe, but this will require something extremely powerful, like the Heidelin kick, to be accomplished.
Sorry? Excuse me?
I don't know what that means.
I don't even know. I don't need that, but just remove the barrier between light and chaos, and I'll be
That
happy.
should be the first priority, to make it so that at least that can work.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah. They're working on it, so...
That's cool.
I know a lot of people don't like that idea. So
why?
They don't like big open... Because it technically makes the whole game accessible by all regions, you know what I mean? Like, we can play with Americans on European servers. I've always heard people complaining about that when other games are brought up that have that feature, because there's other MMOs out there that have this.
Yeah, there are MMOs that have even transitioned into breaking down servers to have a mega server.
Yeah.
And
but that's the word that people hate, mega server.
But
I
why?
I don't know. I haven't done enough research because I don't care about it.
I would theorize that it would be like in the Duty Finder. It would be one of those tick boxes where you can say, do you want to be matched with people worldwide, or do you want to just be matched with people in your region, or even just your data center?
Yeah,
that's fair. That could work, and then you'll be able to sort out lag issues.
Yeah, there's the lag issues. I can see that being a problem. Yeah,
but I don't understand how I don't really understand how this works, with considering the fact that they split the data centers in order to lessen
the
it's weird, isn't it?
Stress on the servers.
It is strange. So, are they about to get?
Well, I think their aim is to re-merge them without the strain, and that's why they need the Heidelin kick.
Yeah, they need to upgrade their shit then, quite a bit.
It's not going to happen without a lot of
Well, I mean, Yoshi-P even drew a sketch.
That's true. He did draw a very good sketch.
Yeah.
I think that's very generous, but
in which he very carefully kept Japan separate from everyone else.
Very carefully, yeah. It was very careful. I don't know. That would be. I just want within at least our own clusters be able to jump between, because there's no real reason to have a split like this other than lag prevention, I guess, because their servers are shit. Right. Next, Yoko Taro and Yosuke Saito. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah. Close enough.
Okay. Confirmed as guests for TGS Live Letter on September 15th. Final Fantasy XIV fans are eagerly awaiting for the new Yorha Dark Apocalypse raid by Nier I can't say
Automata.
Automata director Yoko Taro and producer Yosuke Saito, but not much is known about it. It's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Many have also been wondering what Yoko Taro's role exactly is in the creation of the raid content. So Twinfinite asked director and producer Naoki Yoshida and main scenario writer Banri Oda directly during an interview at Gamescom.
Excuse me.
Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. Yoshida-san confirmed that Yoko Taro's role is indeed a large one. Yoko Taro is playing a really big role for Yorha Dark Apocalypse. His role is related to the overall aspect of the creation, like the script and coming up with content ideas. Oda-san also added more details about Yoko Taro's role. The same goes for selecting the kind of boss enemies that will appear in the raid, and he's reviewing the soundtrack as well.
That last one's interesting. I mean, to be honest, I'm more interested in the boss enemies he chooses, but I'm surprised that he's involved in reviewing the soundtrack.
I don't know, because the Nier games have such distinct and incredible soundtracks. It would be nice if we could get some of that music in this game.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get the original tracks like we did with the Evilise raids, or if they'll be
there might be issues.
Redone by Soken.
Oh, that's a good.
What do you mean there'll be issues? What issues will there be?
Well, actually, no, they're probably... Well, no, because it's
Square Enix.
It's also Square.
Yoshida-san then had one final tease to share. He had his usual "you're going to like this" expression that is really difficult to convey in written form. But if you've seen his live letter from the producer live stream, you probably know what I'm talking about. He also selected what kind of characters he wants to bring from the Nier world to 14, and that means you can expect the appearance of Nier characters, so you can look forward to that. That's very good. There you go.
Does anyone know if Yoko Taro has finished the game yet?
Finish the game.
Finished the game?
At least caught up on the MSQ.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what the status is on that. He kind of...
I have to assume he's still updating us on Twitter, maybe?
I mean, well, let's check. That's fair enough. He brought a skip. I hope he didn't, but that'd be funny if he did.
He did have some complaints, which he
did
posted on Twitter. So it was mostly UI related, but yeah. Also, he had to wait in queue. He didn't like that. The queues were too long. Yeah.
This game is not popular
That's quite
enough
funny.
No.
for him.
No. For Final Fantasy XIV, we have bad news again.
Very bad news.
It seems like 14 might be coming to Xbox One.
No.
Ring the bells.
This doesn't bother me as much as it annoys them.
It bothers me quite a bit, because we've just dug ourselves out of the PS3 restrictions, and now we're not only locking ourselves into another platform, we might also be locking ourselves into an inferior platform as well.
What? The Xbox One is inferior to the PS4?
Read the next line.
Oh, no. I don't think that's happening.
But it's not the first time this has been brought up, Georgi, which is why it's a big worry. This was originally a German interview, I believe. This has been translated by Maglan69. Good name on Reddit.
Thanks, Maglin.
Final Fantasy XIV coming to Xbox One or Nintendo Switch. Currently, you can play Final Fantasy XIV on PlayStation 4 and the PC. Some of our users have been interested in whether there are any efforts to publish the game on other platforms. In fact, we've been talking to the respective distributors for some time. Yoshida tells us. In the course of this year's E3, there were personal discussions with Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft's Xbox division. Square Enix had a very good relationship with the company. Although details need to be negotiated, Yoshida hopes to be able to send good news to players soon. That is a red flag. As it seems, so is to be expected with a port of Final Fantasy XIV. About a possible port for Nintendo Switch, however, we did not receive accurate information.
What does that mean? They received inaccurate information?
Yeah. They said it's definitely coming to Switch right now.
Yeah.
Just from a fan.
Yeah.
One of the ones that went to the Hour Dance
I
Festival.
mean, if they're looking for sources of inaccurate information, I'm available.
Well, the fact that
just to confirm our stances, it's definitely coming to Switch
yes,
this Christmas.
can confirm a Christmas release for the Switch port.
Wow. Which so we're only going to be able to play PC and PS4 will revert to 30 FPS.
Yes.
To make sure we don't have any advantages or anything.
Yeah. Although we get this not just every year, we get it multiple times a year, these kinds of headlines. This time it does say that he's had personal... in the course of this year's E3, there were personal discussions with Phil Spencer, which means
good old Phil.
It's progressing and they're trying to make it happen now.
The Xbox One thing doesn't bother me because it's at the same level of power as the PS4, essentially.
Yeah, but it just means they're going to have to make sure it works fine between the hardware.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not
resources.
Just copy and pastes of each other. They're not just the same console rebranded.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to put in extra work every single patch for every single thing they add. Which is fine if they can do it. I don't really care if Xbox players play the game.
Yeah.
But I just don't want us to have unnecessary additions that they have to, like hurdles they have to jump through every single patch.
I will be bothered if it appears to start affecting the development cycle. But
by then it's too late.
It's too late by then, yeah, that's the trouble. Yeah. They can't just right.
They can't just be like, okay, well, this was a bad idea. Oh, well, goodbye. Yeah, exactly, that's the problem.
I understand that. I'm just unwilling to become like worried without.
I'm going to be a negative Nancy if this goes through. I'm going to be so negative about it.
I'll be pretty annoyed if it goes.
I'm not going to welcome a single Xbox One viewer.
No.
Yeah, I would assume it's easier to.
We should brand them all like we did with the other thing.
Yeah.
I would assume it's easier to work with the Xbox One compared to the PS4.
Yeah, aren't they actually working
possibly
to bridge the gap between Xbox and PC? Isn't that like a thing they're doing? So maybe
almost every game that Microsoft releases for Xbox One now is also getting PC releases. So
yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about Mac. Are there any Mac players here?
No. Don't even. Is Mac still on the Realm Reborn?
No, they're actually caught up with us.
I'm pretty sure they're caught up. Can you play with? I have to. No, of course they are compatible with us. I assume there have been people that I have played with at some point that uses a Mac.
So there are Mac players out there.
They're those ones you see running into walls.
No, but is it? I always heard that the port was pretty bad.
I don't actually. I'm talking a mess. I don't
Remember when it was so bad they pulled it?
Yes.
I think it was a Realm Reborn. It just didn't work properly, so they just pulled it.
Why couldn't they pull the PS3 version?
Because they promised that.
They did though eventually. To thunderous applause. Never forget. Okay.
I don't know if that was what I'd call that applause, Likio.
It was applause. I still remember it.
I'm talking about what you did.
Oh.
That was he still clapped something.
We don't talk about that. Right. Does Square Enix stick to the subscription model? Oh, hey, it's an article full of all the questions we get every year.
Yeah.
There are quite a few potential players. But they are close to the subscription model of Final Fantasy XIV. Does Square Enix still stick to it? Yoshida and Oda provide comprehensive information on what they see as the greater benefit of this payment option. The subscription model gives developers the opportunity to deliver new content on such a scale and at the current speed. If there were another payment model, this output would probably not be feasible. The ever-growing volume justifies the payment model. Square Enix sticks to it. Also from our community, players have mentioned that they would be reluctant to pay for the main game to have subsequent running costs if they want to continue playing. However, Yoshida says with conviction that the main game that you buy once already includes a large amount of valuable content. In addition, each player has the opportunity to test Final Fantasy XIV for free and to convince himself that it is worth running the cost. In his opinion, it is fair to be able to play in the free trial up to job level 35. That's all more than you can expect. He understands that some players prefer other payment models, but again emphasizes that the enormous amount of content justifies the subscription model. Or in short, no, Square Enix is not about to change the payment model of Final Fantasy XIV.
Well, thanks for double checking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like that the free trial ends at level 35 still.
I think that's a lot of content though, because that's on every job. I mean, that's
Yeah, it is on every
I agree
job.
it's a lot of content, but I think it's not a good point to leave you in the story.
Yeah, he told. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where like the story dips. That's like where you. Well,
Yeah.
that's 30, I guess,
Yeah.
with the Titan shit. But
No,
you.
Titan is level 34.
Oh yeah, so you're right. Okay, so it's just in that slog. Okay. He did talk about wanting to raise the cap on the free trial.
It makes sense to do it now because we've got a higher overall.
Yeah.
I could understand if they cut it off just before Cape Westwind.
Yeah.
Because then, like, you're in this point of the game where you're like, ooh, I really want to see more.
Yeah.
Rather
yeah,
than you've been
I
forced
mean,
to do this.
That's almost all of A Realm Reborn for free, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, think about the 100 quests that exist in the patch cycle mailer.
Yeah.
They're not technically A Realm Reborn.
They
They're
are.
post A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Can I
I
have a
understand
bring
that
An argument against A Realm Reborn, okay?
I understand that that's most of A Realm Reborn, but A Realm Reborn is very old now.
Yeah.
I agree. I think
And you get
maybe the starter edition, you should pay for that, but then you can play that up for free up until whenever, 49.
And it's not like, I mean, you get Heavensward and Stormblood free when you buy Shadowbringers now.
Yeah.
They went the EverQuest 2 model, which I quite like.
Yeah. Well, again, don't worry, we're not going free to play. Are there any more updates or a sequel?
Yeah,
This question is very strange. Are there any more updates or a sequel? The two developers said there are currently no plans to develop a sequel to Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix adheres to the concept of the game and wants to provide content to content and update the story about updates.
That's the greatest sentence you've ever read. Square Enix wants to provide content to content and update the story about updates, says Yoshida.
And update the story with updates, says Yoshida. Through updates. Update the story through patches, says Yoshida. In short, currently there is no prospect of a new online offshoot.
Can't wait. Estinian returns, Final Fantasy XIV.
The way that's phrased makes it seem like there's a possibility of an offline offshoot.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
That would be fantastic.
That's what they wanted to
would
do
be
with
very
11 all
interesting.
along, and then we got 1.0.
I'd love Final Fantasy offline setting Eorzea.
Forta, yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, Eorzea is one of the most well-developed
Yeah.
Final Fantasy worlds of all time.
Be a shame to just leave it after the MMO.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm sure something's gonna happen. That's gonna be so strange. Like, far into the future, if Final Fantasy still exists, like they will be starting to reference Eorzea in other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's gonna be absurd.
Another game. I hope Estinian's in it.
Yeah, he's gonna be like a character.
I don't think Estinian will ever be able to replace Kain as like the
No, that's
primary
true.
reference of a dragon.
You're coming for your Stola in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ishtola will be around for a long time.
Yeah,
And
Rauban.
I guess Xenos
that
will
would
be
be.
now too. No, Xenos
Oh,
is
I'd
more
give
like...
anything
Oh, yeah.
for Rauban outside.
Yeah.
I love Rauban.
Okay, last one. New hairstyles and equipment for the Viera. For both the Viera and the Hrothgar, some new equipment and customization options are planned. These should not appear like... What am I reading? These should not appear like a hurdy-burly with a time,
Birdie.
but are integrated bit by bit into the game. Both new breeds...
Oh, breeds. Breeds, eh?
Wait, what is that?
You should not appear like a hurdy-burly. Both new breeds are.
Races.
Both new races will be equipped with numerous
the
options as well as all other previously available ones. What this means in concrete remains unanswered, but there is probably hope for games that want especially new hairstyles and headgear for the
For
VR.
games that want new hairstyles.
Look,
I feel like
I
whoever
want to retract
translated
my,
this gave up
my
at the
fact
end.
For Maglan.
I think he just didn't care about this latter half. He's like, well, whatever.
They did it for free.
Yeah.
It's not like they're being paid to do
we
this.
get the gist of it. Well, there you go.
But yeah, so seemingly Vieira and Frothgar will always keep their unique hairstyles, which means there's no point in farming the hairstyles that already exist in the game for them.
And that means they will not add new hairstyles to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets anything now.
Yeah.
Right.
My favorite thing about the Frothgar is that you know how they have limited headgear, and there was that screenshot competition where they asked people to show off their new Frothgar or Vieira. People who chose the Gaelic cap option can't wear it with a Frothgar.
Ah, that's true.
Nice.
That's true.
Nice. Well, you can always Fantasia. Right. Now to our main story. At Gamescom yesterday, Friday, April 23rd, Banri Oda and Yoshi-P attended Gamescom. Well, they had been attending for a while. This is day 4, day 3. I can't remember. There was okay. So let's first of all, before we actually go through this, I'll set the scene. It's like a normal convention center style place, but they're not on a raised stage. They might have been like just slightly above the rest of the floor, but it was basically ground level. There's this lady that comes in, and she's like, "Woo! Gamescom! Let's give it up for Yoshi-P!" And there's like no response. Like there's complete silence. And she's like, "Woo! Everyone go Yoshi-P! Yoshi-P!" And then she listened for the rest. Not a word. And I'm like, you need to drop it now. Abort. But she just kept going. Yoshi-P and Banri Oda won't come out unless you go Yoshi-P. Yeah. And still nothing.
You can't even argue that it was a result of not being able to capture the audio of the crowd, because you captured a lot of audio in that.
Boy,
and not on purpose.
Yeah, boy, did we hear everything that was going on in that center. But they come in, they sit down. Just as they're about to sit down, the translator lady, which was a new translator lady I haven't seen before, she like, "Oh, there's something wrong with my like audio thing," and like they fickled with that for a while. And when she spoke, her audio was so low volume, and in addition to that, I think Yoshi-P and Banri Oda's mics were always hot, so they caught like background interference, and it was like doubled. So we got like a lot of interference while she was talking. And then just to top it off, the sweet little cherry on top was that there were 2 people that at different points during the panel would stand uncomfortably close to the stage and just stare at them. And seeing as it wasn't like a raised stage, they were like at eye level. And they would just not stop staring.
Oh, that's awful.
Camera work was okay, although they were fixed angles from what seemed to be cameras that were very far away. So it looked like we were like spying on them. Like we were looking through some CCTV.
It was like a bootleg stream.
Anyways, we did get some good questions and some good answers. So let's go. This is a rough transcript. There's no official transcript yet. This is by Benjo on the official forum. So thank you for providing this.
Thank you.
The hero. The hero we don't deserve.
Give it up for Luke at Bravestone.
What?
Come on, crowd. Lukey B. Lukey B. Yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah.
What's going to happen at Speakers Con?
Benjo means toilet, does it? Okay, thanks.
Will you be that Will you be the woman at Speakers Con, Mela?
100%. And
Mela will be
if
the woman.
anyone says anything, I'll walk off stage and do it again. 'Cause
Cool. Okay. Question 1. How fun was it to write up characters like Emmett Selk, Vol 3, and the Crystal Exarch? We start. It's a light start. Banri Oda says that it's a bit hard to say how fun it was to describe it. Oh no, it is a bit hard to say how fun it was to describe it if that's the way. And only these 3 characters. But anytime I wrote up with characters, I try to have fun as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a tough read.
It is a tough read. But this
transcript.
This is a transcript. Yeah. But yeah, remember this is from the direct translation, so we're gonna have to work with that. So he just tries to have as much fun as possible when making the characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yoshida follows up. What makes them very unique and really cool about story writing is that you can kind of create a fate for these characters.
Yes.
And Banri Oda says, so the most parts of these 3 characters were created by Ishikawa, so whenever I try to write about them, I'm using their setting, and I try to be faithful to the settings that Ishikawa created.
I feel like that almost seems like an insult to him. So, hey, Banri, what about those characters you wrote? I didn't actually make those ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Ishikawa always has to write for characters that Banri Oda wrote,
that's
created. So it's
That's
just,
true.
I guess, a reversal of that.
Yeah. Right. Question 2. Did the Crystal Exarch stop physically aging when he merged with the Crystal Tower? Oda says, anyone who completed the main scenario of Shadowbringers must have seen his face without his hood. Yoshida says, because he's there to save the world, which is true. It's very obvious that he's kind of stopped aging. Because he's like over 100 years old, and he wouldn't look like that if he was over 100 years old.
Hair.
Yeah, well, he does kind of have
He
that.
does have some grey hair.
Yeah, part of his hair has turned grey. But I was thinking more about his face. Because he's there to save the world and do the feat, he has to live longer. That's why he refused himself to be part of... Sorry, that's why he fused himself to be a part of the Crystal Tower. And at the moment he stopped his growth, he can't age anymore. So that kind of trait tells how big the decision he made was. So that's why he's fused with the Crystal Tower.
Yeah. I never really got that he was fused with the Crystal Tower. I thought he took on some of its energies, but fused is not how I would have. If I was to explain how I thought he kept on living, that's not the word I would use to describe his relation to the Crystal Tower.
He's tethered to it in a way. The further away he is, and for the longer he's away from it, the weaker he gets. So he has to go back there. So he's almost like a satellite of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question 3. Are there ever any cleverly hidden hints in-game about the identity of our original soul beyond the Hythlodius conversation and the moment Emmett Selk sees us that players should be on the lookout for? I do love seeing the community investigate the lore together. Banri Oda says there may be some hints hidden here and there, so they're here and there, though I won't be able to say anything more on this occasion. Yoshida says, during the journey into the Stormblood main scenario, the hints are here and there before Shadowbringers as well. But if he'd say anything about that, it would take away from everyone. So I would invite you to speculate and debate and find out yourselves. One thing I would like to point out is that we see the theories online saying that the Warrior of Light may be Hythlodius, but that's not the case.
I'm so glad he said that.
I didn't even know that.
When in Stormblood, though?
What?
Huh?
What things in Stormblood hinted to us being?
I guess you're gonna have to
first?
go back and watch all the cutscenes.
I can't think about anything that ever made me think, do you know what? Maybe we actually are one of the original people who summoned Hydaelyn. Because we didn't even...
I think he's just saying there were hints to what we're going to be doing in Shadowbringers, but I don't. I think it's they're two disconnected ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
But he definitely can't be worried about past spoilers because he's spoiled loads in the interview.
Yeah. What you'll see very often here is that Yoshida's trying to, because I think it's trying to steer away so that no one spoils anything.
Maybe.
So I think that's why he's he's the master of changing the topic. So he tends to just answer whatever he wants to answer, even if it's not exactly what the question was. But yeah, Banri Oda says that there are hints hidden here and there, so I won't be able to. He can't say anything more, which means that there are hints.
Yeah.
Hidden in the story.
Let's find them all.
Yeah.
Let's find them all.
Someone get on that.
Yeah, someone else find them and then tell us, and then we'll claim it.
Yeah, Thornton hinted. Tenson has been a big clue.
That's true. That was the Tenson thing.
Yeah. So it's out there.
Yeah.
And now that we know that there's something to look for, we might actually
that's true. There's
shit together.
The thing that
New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Oh well, the thing that Congo said is also true, that the old lady mole also says that she sees the shadow in you.
Crusty,
that's
good
true.
old Crusty.
Crusty old, yeah.
Yeah.
Crust lady.
Yeah. The Hythlodius theory I've never even heard of. At no point did I think he was us.
No, never. Not a single point.
I never thought that, but I'd been seeing but a small section of people online, specifically on the subreddit, that were saying, where are Hythlodius? And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, that doesn't.
Why would he talk to us? And no, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, why would he identify us as like a friend? Why wouldn't he just say, "Oh, you remind me," like, yeah.
I am my best friend.
You remind me of me when I was young.
Yeah. Okay, question 4. Emmett Selk remarks that we are of the source 7 times rejoined. Is he talking about our soul or only the world? If our soul has been rejoined, does that mean... This was actually a really interesting answer.
Very interesting.
Does that mean everyone on the source has been rejoined to another soul fragment with each calamity? Or are we, and perhaps other specific characters, special in some way? And I was surprised at how forward he was with this. He just dumped this in. Banri Oda said, each time a rejoining, I'm assuming, happens, any living thing in the world experiences the soul and everything rejoined. It's not a case for the warrior. It's not just for the warrior of light / warrior of darkness or any specific character. It happens equally for everyone. Your soul kind of gets thicker and dense and thus more powerful. So every living being on Hydaelyn gets stronger with each rejoining, or we get thicker.
Which almost implies that every single soul on Hydaelyn was on the original planet.
No, I don't think that's what it is. It's just that we're gaining matter. I guess we're gaining... Because we are the source, we're born on the source, we're using the life stream of the source. Every time a planet flows into Hydaelyn, we just gain a little bit from it.
Yeah, because that ether has to go somewhere.
Yeah. So it's not just us. It's everything on Hydaelyn that's gaining from our rejoining. So it's good. It's good for us, technically.
I mean, that's a very Asian point of view to say it's good for us.
I'm turning now. I mean, it is, though. Like, becoming thicker.
I guess arguably, yes, it is good for us, but not necessarily for the entirety of the 14 shards.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Right. Also, Yoshida adds the rejoining. Yeah, it just sort of repeats the okay. The rejoining is not just for characters of the players, but for the entirety of the world. Of course, your soul is the worldwide amount of the rejoined, and so you get bigger and stronger. I don't know. There's that you have to interpret that sentence yourself.
Cola.
More
amaretine.
Yeah,
exactly. You get a mask on your face at all times.
Yeah. Question 5. What was the most difficult aspect of adapting both Viera /V's and the Rothgar /Ronso into 14's lore and story? This was a strange.
How was it shoehorning Vieira into the 14 world?
Well,
I mean, Vieira
I feel like
existed.
Rothgar was more jarring than Vieira.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they wanted Rothgar more than Vieira.
They did.
Yeah.
But Vieira somehow was more
yeah.
welcome in Eorzea because of how they'd. Yeah. As for Vieira, this is Banri Oda speaking, we took the origin setting from Final Fantasy XII as is, and as much as possible without giving it the sort of Final Fantasy XIV interpretation to it. So they wanted it to be as like pure, close to the 12 Final Fantasy 12 Vieira as possible. By having talks with Matsuno-san, Woolhead, many times, who was in charge of the scenario of Return to Ivalice, we kind of prevented giving the spoilers to Final Fantasy XIV's world. The spoils.
I don't know what this means.
Let's see.
It kind of prevented giving.
Well, that's what we have. I would like to thank you, Matsuno-san. I don't know what that means. As for the Rothgar, we didn't want to give the impression that this race just suddenly appeared in the world, so we created a setting, like a link towards a place called Bosja Citadel, so it doesn't feel like a sudden appearance. And also, we touched upon the Rothgar background in the Tales of the Storm, so that it can be better understood by players.
Is it?
I can't remember Rothgar being mentioned there, but...
I asked this before. Is it a story that's in the book that was exclusive to the book? Because there are some stories that are
it's probably in one of those
in the book.
Yeah.
And we know that Thancred learnt how to be a gunbreaker from the Hrothgar while he was doing his spying in what's it called? Ilsabard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like adding in 2 new races, mainly for the source, was a really bad idea for an expansion where we never spent any time on the source to explain
it. Yeah. I was
there's
kind
no
of
side quests about the source versions of them.
The first time, you meet one in the Gunbreaker quest.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it broke my brain because the naming convention is different on Eorzea, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So that was weird. They definitely feel like they just appeared in Eorzea.
Yeah,
They're just here.
They're jarring.
Yeah. Next question 6. Ranjit had vastly more strength than his soldiers, as any good general should have, but did Ranjit get any extra strength from the Sin Eaters in any way, or was it purely his own? We could probably all answer this, before they actually gave an answer, because it's kind of explained in game. He did not get any strength from Sin Eaters. He was not even under Volthri's control. He was, himself.
Strong.
Yoshida noted that this was another hot topic that the community is discussing. Completely missed that discussion because I feel like that was already explained in the game.
I'd seen people arguing about it, but I'd mostly seen people correcting those who thought he was taking Sin Eater strength.
Okay. Banri Oda says he has a quite unique fighting style that makes him empowered by his Serpent Dragon, but he learned it through his intense training by himself. He is from an area outside of Norvrant, which is already annihilated by the Flood of Light. He is descended from a clan who has this special sort of martial arts. That's where his roots are, and also his naming convention is not following the conventional naming. Okay, following the naming conventions of Norvrant.
Yeah, of Hjurs in Norvrant.
Of Hjurs in Norvrant, yeah.
Or Humes, sorry.
Oh yeah, Humes. So that's
I would like to know what region he was from, but I guess it's probably never going to be.
No. Maybe, though. I mean, the first is here now. We might learn about the fallen civilizations, at least, at some point.
Yeah, there's so much about the first that we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, question 7. Did the Asians really look that way, that we see them in Emet-Selk's illusion, or is he making them look different for dramatic effect? At first, I didn't catch what was wrong with this question, but then I realized that they're saying ASEAN.
Yeah.
Banri Oda says, except the fact that they look like glowing ghosts or phantoms, it was tradition to wear that outfit of a robe and a mask. The reason why Asians wear that robe and the mask is that it's reminiscent of this ancient tradition. Yoshida follows up. The confusion within the community is that we don't call the entirety of ancient people Asian. So those citizens in Amarot aren't Asians, but they are the illusion of ancient people. One thing for sure is that the ancient people, like you see in Amarot, actually wear the robes and masks. If you're looking at those people in Amarot, they do not have any distinct features because they are blurry and look like aliens. But that's not the case, that's not correct. Of course, the actual people who lived in the ancient world had distinct facial features as well. They were all different. The reason why they all look the same in the game is to make them look like the same people. It's more a visual kind of...
To make them look uniform.
Presentation. Yeah. The source
it's like how they treat basemen.
Yeah, basically. The source of confusion is that you have this conversation with Hythlodius in the registration area, and also you see his vision, in which Emet-Selch sees you as an I can never say this.
Amoritine.
Amoritine.
I don't think that's the correct demo.
Yeah, it isn't.
That's an Amorosian.
Which is also an illusion. So this was a wrong conception. Each and every one of the ancient people had their distinct facial features. So the thing is that this illusion that Emet-Selch saw was wearing a different Huh? Oh.
Okay, so what I've taken away from this is that during the second Hades phase, where he becomes that giant demon creature with all the masks that are all actually different.
Yeah.
That's what they intended for all the Amoritines. They were all supposed to have different masks, but obviously that's more annoying to work with.
Yeah.
And that's why apparently some people were confusing us with Hythlodius, is because the Amoritine that Emet-Selch sees at the end in us has the same mask as Hythlodius, but that's the case for all of them. So I don't know why they all decided, that one's Hythlodius.
Right. Okay, I see. Yeah. Again, the Amoritines, how do you say it again? Amoritines. Amoritines are not Asians. Asians are the ones
Asians
that exist now that follow Zodiark.
Yes.
Right.
Huh?
How many are there again? 13, right?
Do we know the exact amount of Asians there were? Because there were three. There are three
Paragons of the Source.
Yeah.
There are three unsundered, but how many? Because the way they always got other Asians was they would pluck people from the other shards
That's true.
That had the essence of those Asians in them.
An Asian. Does he count as an Asian?
Who?
Unukululahai.
Unukulahai. No, I don't think he's an Asian.
No.
I don't think he was ever treated as... He's a warrior of light.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
He is someone who had the potential to be a warrior of light before the 13th was...
Before his fucking world was just destroyed. Yeah. Okay. Right. Question 8. Are all Asian/Amoritines real names based on Greek mythology? So, we have Hades and Hythlodius, I guess, which they
Lahabrea was Cerberus.
Was he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought that was breaking news.
Yeah.
That's like one of the questions further down.
I was like, where did you get this information from?
There's also like how Amarot is governed is very Greek in nature as well.
That's true.
Okay, Banri Oda says, first and foremost, if we say Hythlodius has anything to do about, how do we read?
It's related to Greek mythology.
It's related to Greek mythology. That isn't the case. You may get the impression, probably, because the name of Hythlodius sounds like a Greek-based word. For any character, area, or anything else, we tried to use the terms of Greek origin for characters and area names intentionally. So they went for a Greek vibe.
Yeah.
Yoshida says, do you have any particular reason behind this? Yoshida asks Banri Oda. Banri Oda says, yes, there is a reason behind this, but we can't talk about it here because otherwise, because it would be a spoiler.
I teased Georgi about this earlier, that it strengthens the real world.
I hated that idea that you would suggest that
the original
the Unsundered world was a...
Yeah. Now, I would obviously hate that, but also I would gain a sick satisfaction from it being true, just because it would annoy everyone so much.
Wouldn't make much sense though if it was Earth,
No, it wouldn't.
because we don't create creatures, and we don't wear long robes and masks.
Yeah.
No.
One theory...
Maybe not in your culture, Lukiel, but in ours.
Actually, I'll talk about this later.
Okay.
I think it's relevant to a different question.
Okay. Question 9. I've been rewatching cutscenes from A Realm Reborn, and I think it's very interesting that the Ascians reference the mournful voice of creation. How long have you had the Ascians' backstory in mind? About 3.5. No, just kidding. Banri Oda said, we have had the basic settings for Ascians, the names, and also their existence from the Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 14 1.0 era. When we had the idea of the setting for the Ascians remain a mystery.
Huh? I don't quite understand that sentence.
I think he's just saying
they
that
wanted to shroud the Ascians.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, in 1.0, if that's what he's referring to, Ascians were very mysterious. We only actually saw one, like a husk. Yeah. That was it. And of course what's his name? The Ellison.
Travanchet.
Yes.
Yeah, Travanchet. Yes.
Thank God I remember that.
The only Ascian we've ever seen without a shadow.
That's true. Ascian obviously meaning with loads of shadows. So.
Lots of shadows. Yeah,
he didn't make much of
good
sense.
Shading, loads of shadows. That's what.
Do the Mauritanians have shadows?
Why'd you ask this?
Probably.
Okay. Yoshida follows up here. So if we take this example to refer to 14... Oh, fuck's
I know.
sake.
I can't... When I read this, I just couldn't even.
So, this is his favorite thing. If we take this example to refer to Final Fantasy XIV as a TV drama series, we kind of apply the first season of 14 as a Realm Reborn.
What's 1.0 then?
The pilot,
yeah. and technically...
somehow they kept running with the series.
Usually if the pilot fails, it's the end of the show. If the result...
That's kind of how Lost worked. The pilot was so expensive that they had to produce the whole show.
Oh, yeah. If the result is not good, then the second season, Heavensward, could have been the end of the journey.
Oh.
And
how disappointing.
We kind of already know that they thought that initially when they created Heavensward.
That's fair, yeah.
They didn't have much hope, but they also didn't have much hope for Stormblood. They're very pessimistic. Very pessimistic.
What's wrong with them?
I think this is the first time they've been excited about it.
Yeah, I know.
God, imagine if it fails now.
We had these overall details, though we didn't elaborate on those. But when we started developing on A Realm Reborn and saw that the rhythm is there and it's looking great, we expanded upon... we decided to expand upon the settings around the Ascians. For those who are handling the main scenario, being Oda and Ishikawa, especially Oda, they're going back to the pages and dialogue.
And fact log.
I assume a fact log is a shorthand for things that they need information about very quickly.
With thorough research and try to adapt those facts. So they're trying to adhere to established lore. And after that, they add more into it, but without creating too many contradictions. With the ones that created the facts beforehand, and they improvised the new facts, so everything fits up, everything lines up nicely. They are skilled to weave out the great story and the lore, which is extraordinary. So, yeah, which is why the Ascian is probably a good a story to expand on, because it was kept so vague. Both in 1.0 and A Realm Reborn. Like, even in A Realm Reborn, Ascians they were there, but they were like, we didn't really know anything about them. So yeah, that was a good idea. And also, this must be the worst part about being like the head writer for an MMO, is that you have to like make sure you're following established lore. So you have to like go back and be like, can I do this? Right. Question 10. Could we please learn the true name of Laha Brea? Finding out Emmett Selk's true name was absolutely awesome and a great reveal. So it'd be fantastic if we could figure out who Laha Brea was. Yoshida says, next. That was it.
That's his name. Next.
His name is Next.
So we're going to find out. There's no way we're not going to find out.
No. They would have said something.
We're going to find out, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to just be another Greek god or someone within the Greek pantheon?
That's what this is what I was going to bring up earlier. What do you think of the theory that the 3 unsundered Asians are named Hades, so the one we know about, Wemetsel, Zeus and Poseidon, because those are the 3 brothers in Greek history? Or Greek mythology.
So Elidibus is Zeus, and then Laha Brea is Poseidon.
Probably. I think the name Hades, because of its sort of... It's so widespread as a term, like the name Hades as the god of the underworld, that's fine, but Zeus is so specific to Greek mythology, and you can't really get away from thinking...
You couldn't say that Hades isn't... I mean, come on. There's Hades and Zeus, and I guess Hercules.
Hades is already a summon in Final Fantasy history as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Poseidon as well?
I'm struggling with having Laha Brea be Poseidon.
If he's going to be anything... Make him like one of the weird ones.
Yeah.
Like Kronos or something.
Yeah.
This is a theory that some people have been throwing out. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I like the thematic connection to it.
I just think it's a little
regardless of whether
out
it's
of
true.
Left field. I thought when the reveal of his name, like the first reveal, I'm like, well, okay, that's your name, I guess. Hades?
Yeah, I don't know if I liked
left
it
field.
that much.
No.
I thought it was so sudden
Hades
and
is
never expanded upon that it kind of felt a bit awkward.
Yeah. Hades is such a mainstream name. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Exactly.
It's the most vanilla god name.
If it'd come out the field and just gone, my name's Pollux.
Yeah.
Then
Oh my god, it's Pollux!
Yeah.
Well,
or
you can,
Prickus.
I can understand why you may be a bit thrown off by it being used. What?
I am Paul! It's just like a normal name.
I can understand being thrown off in terms of how sudden he throws his name onto us, but it just continues the trend of having massive super bosses as
that's true.
The final boss of each expansion.
They should have made it really confusing. He was like, "I'll tell my true name. I am Laha Brea."
Yeah,
and they all just
that'd be great.
They could have ended up picking someone a big summon like Anima or something.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
but the trouble is, I mean, Chaos is from Greek mythology as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's a boss in Omega.
Yeah,
he's also a data center.
And a data center.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the theory.
It's just. I think it's because though the names that we've mentioned now. Well, I mean, Hades is already here, so it might as well be Poseidon and Zeus. You know, it's going to be jarring, but so was Hades. So
yeah,
it's just it doesn't make sense because they have specific roles in our world, and
exactly. Yeah,
I don't really see Laha. They don't have to be associated with the elements that they are here, but it's just going to be strange.
They sort of feels like they do.
Yeah, because we're already thinking that if anyone's going to be Zeus, it has to be Elidibus. So we're already assigning them the roles that they should have based on who they are on our
And I'm
planet.
even thinking, what if the 12, the Hydaelyn side, or some of the other ones, like the Greek god of the sun is Azima, but her real name is whatever the Greek one is.
Yeah.
I've already closed the website of Greek gods, so I can't remember anymore. But,
Yeah.
If it gets too Greek, it's going to go into the same thing where you can sort of start figuring things out. And I don't necessarily like that.
It's not even necessarily that they're all going to have Greek names, because look at Midgard Swarmer's children. They don't all take their origins aren't all Norse.
Right.
That's true. They can play around with it. And like they say, Hythlodius isn't necessarily within Greek
No.
history. It's just a Greek sounding name, so they might just be
Wait,
Grecian.
what was the mask Emmett Selk was wearing? What was that Esper?
Zalera?
And that's the god of... is it the god of the underworld?
The Death Seraph.
So it makes sense. See? Immediately made sense. That's... Okay. So if we look at the masks, we might actually... Because Hades is the god of the underworld and the dead. So...
Yeah. What's Mateus? Because that's La Habrea, isn't it?
If La Habrea is Mateus, then he is Abyssal Celebrant. So that could be Poseidon.
That could be Poseidon then. And Elidibus? What is his mask? Have you seen his mask yet? I can't remember. Yes, of course.
I don't know. I don't. Have we?
No, I guess we haven't seen his mask yet. No, not the glowing one. Huh. It's gonna be. Zeus.
That one might be more difficult because it does also have ties to the Western Zodiac.
Oh yeah, after he leaves Xenos' body, his new mask is Zodiark? Is it Zodiark? Well, that's Zeus then. We've cracked the code, guys.
I don't know.
We've
Well,
cracked
the
it.
Scions of Darkness is chaos anyway. I don't ever played enough 12 to look into that.
I don't think they're going to use all of them simply because there's too much crossover in between the series.
Yeah,
that's true.
But how many Espers in 12? 12?
Yeah.
Question mark?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Don't ask me.
Okay, so
but then
there are 12.
Zodiac's the 13th one. He's the 13th Zodiac.
Right.
Who is a Fucius.
It might be Greek chaos as well. That's true.
Who's darkness.
Yeah, well,
Zodiac, keeper of
interesting.
precinct.
We're not supposed to sit here and theory craft today. Sorry.
No, but it's always more fun to do that.
I know. Okay, question 11. Elidibus once described La Habrea as unique after a long pause to choose his words. Did he, like Emmett Selk, have less favorable judgment on their colleague in recent years while being too polite to say so? Banri Oda says, I believe between Elidibus and the others, and also the feelings towards the other Asians, will be unfolded in the future in sort of a story development. The plot around that has already been submitted to Yoshida and is under revision right now. So as long as he gives it a green light, then probably we can explore more on this.
No,
So-
Yoshida will reject this.
Yeah, he will
never
reject this,
discover
yeah.
anything more about Asians.
But via who? Who's going to be able to tell us more about them? There's only one
Elidibus.
left.
There's Elidibus then, I guess.
But he's like going to hiding on the moon because he's terrified and is plotting to kill us again.
There's also Little Boy. Little Boy.
Little Cal High.
Yeah, in the Rising
I suppose
Stone.
he could, yeah. He
I
might
don't
have
know
a-
if he necessarily.
He could
He was
know.
just
He knows
rescued
a
by
lot.
him.
If you've done certain things, you may not think that.
Is this the role quest again?
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh.
Okay. Not touch. Okay, that's fine. We'll not
We
touch
need
on
to
that
do that at
storyline
some
right,
point, but yeah.
right now then. Okay. Right. Yoshida says, this ties closely to the future story development, so there's nothing we can say at this moment. But I think it is the case that either Elidibus or Emmett Selk underestimated La Habrea. Because I believe there is some sort of respect between them. And also, you can see from one of Emmett Selk's dialogues that he said La Habrea would wear out. But it is because La Habrea did quite a lot of work because he was reckoned as a workaholic like me.
Yeah. La Habrea is Yoshi-P.
Yeah, La Habrea is Yoshi-P confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I suppose I always wondered how if they got on. I always thought Elidibus was a bit of a snake,
Yeah.
especially
I agree.
early on when he was making contact with us, because it felt like he was going behind their back and almost like he was going to be a turncoat.
Yeah.
So I think that their relationship's probably quite strained,
Yeah.
especially after thousands of years of trying to resummon their god.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. It's sad that La Habrea died as early as he did. We said this before. Okay. Question 12. Gaius von Belsar is the first major villain we've seen who's now fighting alongside us. Can you tell us a little bit about how the decision to bring him back was made?
Banri Oda here to correct the question. We have Estinian in a similar case, who is a character who we fought against in the Dragoon job quest. But he joined the party to the journey in Ishgard because he was needed for the character to tell what kind of country Ishgard is. So this was a necessity in a different way. It is the same for Gaius. We thought it is finally time to learn more about the Garlean Empire, so that was the reason behind it. So he's telling, so that's like how we can get, the lore explained. Naoki Yoshida says, during the development for Realm Reborn, you may remember the massive explosion at the end of the storyline. Spoilers. There is some sort of there is a theory. There is some theory everywhere, some sort of theory everywhere whether or not Gaius is dead. And with that kind of fact into account, the scenario team and Yoshida had a discussion, and the conclusion was that we don't know. If he died, then we would have to tell them that he died. And if he's still alive, then we had to make sure that that is being told to the players. But at the time, we wanted to make it kind of vague, because we could then use him in the future.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first time they've made someone's death vague in this game.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they've straight up retconned the death once. Remember? Never forget the Sultana.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't poison. It was just sleeping juice.
Yeah. Question 13. We've seen a lot of the men of the Garlean imperial family. Can you tell us about Solus's or Varys' wives and daughters? Do they keep to the background, or are they public figures to the people of Garlemald? This is a good question, because we have...
That's how they always just...
They're all male so far from what we've seen of Garlemald.
Poor Olivia.
There's Livia, but she's not even an imperial.
She's not royal, but she's
at
least a female Garlean.
We've seen female Garleans before, like the royal guards are female as well.
That's true.
The ones
I said this during our live coverage. I don't understand why they got to escape from that fight alive without the idea that they're going to be important later on.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's true.
Sorry, there's also Nail.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But that was like a surprise reveal, and also we didn't get to know that it was a woman until she was dead.
Yeah, that's true.
There's also Lucia as well.
Maybe,
yeah,
but Lucia is a turncoat.
Yeah,
maybe Varys or someone's actually a woman.
I don't think Varys is.
No, I don't. I won't support that theory.
No, I won't either.
We have heard the mention of imperial princesses, at least one, right?
Yes.
There's got to be women in the Guardian.
Of course, but we haven't seen them. There's hardly any mention of them. Okay, Banri Oda says, it is pure coincidence that many male characters appear in Garlemald. However, of course, there are female characters that exist, and they aren't kept to the background. The wife of Varys had died after she gave birth to Xenos, so it would be difficult to bring her character back to the story.
Rude.
Wow. The only possibility to talk about her would be during a side quest.
And that won't happen until we're there.
Yeah. Notice how he completely skips Solus's wife. I think that would be a more interesting story, because she basically married an Asian. So,
yeah.
I'd be curious.
Did she knew?
He wasn't an Asian when we met.
There's that too. Like, was he an Asian before, or was he just?
Well, there was an original one, wasn't there?
No. We have no confirmed lore about that. We don't know.
Yeah.
It is assumed.
But he must have got the body from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't have just created it. So there must have been an original
at what point?
human.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe he could have possessed the child at birth.
He could have.
This child has potential to be like a great emperor.
We know that before Solus ascended to the imperial throne, Garlemald was a republic. So it's definitely... why would he... If he possessed him as a child, that's a very long game to play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
he creates the bodies. It is a
long game, but I think it's easier than possessing them later and potentially having the personality change.
Yeah. It's better to have just to almost become. I mean, he just took over a child's life. I guess.
He said he creates his bodies though. He doesn't.
But no,
body
I think
hop like
that's
the others.
He has that factory where the clones are produced.
I think that's after his death, natural death, right?
Because he gets to be an old man, and then he swaps back to being a young man again.
Yeah.
And then hides in the shadows.
Because he lived a life, and then after he died, he just used the young body.
But he definitely had to have got the original body from a real human.
We might be... Yeah. He says he creates his bodies. He says he doesn't really need the cloning facility. Isn't that what he implied there? But I was just thinking he just recreated the SoL's body, because that's the body of choice.
I think it's easier.
Yeah.
I think it's easier.
Yeah.
He has clones available to him.
Yeah. Right. Yoshida says, speaking of side story, the 27th of August is the anniversary for Realm Reborn. So, as we have released a side story series like Tales from the Dragonsong War and Tales from the Storm, it will be the same for Shadowbringers as well. And we are to announce the release of a side story on the Lodestone. We'd like you to keep an eye out for it. So there might be some.
Let's
what?
Let's read it and put it on the paper.
No, let's not do that. You shouldn't be you're the one who was supposed to record it, by the way, Mela.
I'm gonna read them all.
You were the end station for that project. Let it be known.
You can edit them, and I'll read them all.
That was the deal originally.
That was
no. We were gonna but we were gonna swap between. I'm just gonna
all you were told to do was read the book, and I would do all the editing.
You were all gonna read one each.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard.
It wasn't that hard. Broke apart immediately.
Yeah.
Question 14. It's been observed by players that in the Chrysalis, the meteor phase of the fight has a crystal formation very similar to the Crystal Tower, as well as a figure that looks a lot like Hydaelyn's portrayal in the caves. Could you please elaborate on what the Chrysalis is, and why the Asians chose to portray scenes of both gods? So they're referring to the Chrysalis, but there's two faces. So there's the regular face with the purple
the white
Zodiac statue, and then there's a second face where it's like inverted and everything's white, and there's a white version of that statue. This question implies that that's supposed to be Hydaelyn. So, Banri Oda says, the cave painting wasn't done by Asians. That's one thing for sure. But this was drawn by someone who had a memory of the world before the Sundering and must have seen it through a dream or something, and then made it. The reason why there is some sort of crystal-shaped thing is used for anything Asian-related. The reason why there's crystal-shaped things used for anything Asian-related is based on the Zodiac crystal. You may remember that purplish crystal, but it's more like an antithesis crystal to the mother crystal of Hydaelyn.
So it's related to Zodiac, not Hydaelyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, though, if he is ignoring the second face. Because he's talking about the purple, not the white one. But I wonder...
I think it would be incredible if it turned out that the Chrysalis was an allusion to the Zodiac Hydaelyn thing all this time.
Yeah, that would have been...
They don't think that far ahead, and we know that, but it would be amazing.
Well, he says that the Asian thing has been... That one's has been quite ahead of everything else.
Has been around for a while.
Well, I don't know. He didn't want to talk too much about that. I think a lot of this is stuff that we are going to learn eventually.
Yeah.
Because
the idea that the painting was done by someone that had memories of the pre-sundered world. Maybe that's how the 12 came to be theorized about as well. That's our theories. Some of your theories are correct. That the 12 were the people that summoned Hydaelyn.
We are Oshan.
Okay.
I'm still not subscribing to that one, Mel. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it with curiosity, but also fear. Question 15. Will we ever learn who or what Sabik is? Banri Oda says, this is top secret, though one thing I can tell you here is that the power is tied to the next storyline. Maybe or maybe not. There is a Mog mail that is very interesting. It references, it's a very new one. You guys probably haven't seen it. I put it in the show notes. It came in the other day, or yesterday. It came today, actually, maybe. There's something Okay, we don't have time for Mogmail. Fuck. Okay, question 16. Over time, the Heart of Sabik. We might learn about it in the following patches, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll just eat into the post show. We have nothing planned for this post show anyway. Question 16. Over time, the story and lore behind jobs and classes have been enriched. However, adjustments to jobs and classes over the years mean some have drifted away from those stories that may have grabbed people's interest originally. How have you handled these challenges? Do you see any chance in the future to better align these two sides, job, lore / gameplay? So, Shida says, yes, you are right, and we are totally aware that this is the case and a challenge. There are so many elements in 14, like the deep storyline, and also we have so many jobs in the game that people tend to see jobs on a spectrum of either weak or powerful, and it's kind of hard to satisfy everyone equally. We totally see that gap between the storyline and the job balance, and we kind of turned a blind eye on it, but also acknowledge that this is a challenge for sure. If we adjust the story side of things and we have further adjustments for the job actions, then again, we would see the contradictions in the future. So at the moment, we don't have any concrete solution to share. So
that's fair.
Yeah. It's difficult because once you, White Mage suddenly became a light magic user, it's not mentioned in the MSQ, in the job story. What did we talk about this? Does anyone mention any of the changes? Any of the job?
No, I don't think any of the changes are mentioned this expansion.
Right.
At least.
So it kind of relates to what he's saying here. I think it's probably best not to, because they keep changing the jobs. So stuff doesn't make any sense eventually, and they will have to go back. They would have to go back and adjust that every time they make big changes. Question 17. None of the new job actions added in Shadowbringers get any real lore explanation, or backstory. I would like to know more about these new actions. Could you provide this information to players somehow? Yoshida says. This tied back to the question before Oda and Yoshida wanted to give some kind of... Did Yoshida just reference himself in third person?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to give some... Oh, this is because the translator is saying this. Yoshida wanted to give some kind of story, especially for the level 80 actions. However, we are in the process of making big adjustments to summarize...
Sure, huh?
Yeah, right now. So if we just put 2 and 2 together, there will be the contradictions where the fact doesn't really match up. So rather than we kind of make it off, so we just... they decided not to add backstory to actions for Shadowbringers. That explains what I just talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 18. We have very little information about the Keeper of the Moon or the Duskwhite clans. Would you consider implementing clan quests similar to Beast Tribe quests in order to go more in-depth on their background? The eternal question about Duskwhite and Keeper of the Moon. The team, Oda says, the team had this idea for such a clan quest for a very long time and tried to figure out when would be the best time to release it. But if we pick one, and due to the fact that everyone is playing different races, we expect that players would raise their voices about why a certain race got a clan quest and why another got none. Yeah. Well, we try to figure... Where are the Midlander quests?
Why not just put out...
Where's I need more Midlander
page.
lore. Please.
Just put a lore page on the website for every racing clan.
Please.
And if you have to make new stuff up, make it up, I guess.
I mean, there already is lore for the races in the lore book.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, we try to figure out how to do this. Then the race has been increased in game more and more, and also the cost that it requires to create such a quest is also increasing enormously. There you go. Where's the Midlander lore?
Where is
Lalafeld's got an entire house for themselves.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That is disgusting. Question 19. In the naming conventions for the Keepers of the Moon, it is stated that some of the family surnames have survived since the first Astral Era. Can you tell us more about that? Have some of the surnames been passed down, or are some related to the ancients from before the Sundering? Naoki Yoshida then says, everyone is good at researching things. Banri Oda says, as it was the case, those who remembered the battle between Hydaelyn and Zodiark were people who also felt that those terms or words make no clear sense, but they felt there were some that they were important. By passing through generation, by passing it through passing it from generation to generation, they employ the means to those words to their names.
So
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
My name is obviously very historically important.
What? Weestain?
Yeah.
We don't need another race. That's like, we were there from the beginning. We already suffering with the fucking Ellisons going on about that.
I think you'll find that.
Shut up. You're
there from the beginning.
You're a rather newcomer.
Rothgar have been around forever.
Yes, Rothgar
Still
has
don't
been
really know that much about.
No.
Didn't Emmett Selk say something like Rothgar were the ones who ushered in Zodiark and Hydaelyn?
Yes, absolutely.
The Amoratines with
yeah.
tails, I think they're called.
In Final Fantasy XIV, this is question 20, we've seen civilizations influenced by Mayans and Aztecs, by Middle Eastern cultures, by East Asian culture, etc. Are there any real-world influences that we haven't seen implemented yet that you're interested in touching upon in the future?
I almost thought like the question was about to be, why haven't we had any X?
Yeah. Banri Oda says, whenever we create a new area or kanjis, we often take a real-world culture as reference. What kind of culture the next one will be is kind of a spoiler, so we won't be able to talk on that now.
Yeah.
Who do you think it'll be?
I don't know.
Greeks.
Yeah?
Well, but they've already.
We already
touched
have
on
that, though, in...
Yeah.
Italians.
Why did you say that?
I just think it'd be funny.
How about Norse? How about we get up here?
I think they're talking about historical.
Mm-hmm.
Norse has been touched on already, but not with like a civilization.
Yeah, just names in the first.
We don't have much.
No, I'm talking about the dragons.
Like
that's where your history is.
Oh, that's true, actually. I'm so... Okay, yeah, that's true. It's so mainstream, that too.
Yeah.
I forgot that that's what that is.
We should have more like African or...
We don't have much African culture.
That's true.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, Egyptian is... If they were going to pick African culture, Egyptian is probably...
They've got a little bit of
Yeah.
Egyptian in Khan, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's have some... Well, I don't know very much about ancient African culture, to be honest with you.
That's their job to research it.
Find out some interesting stuff about ancient Africa and put that in the game.
I mean, they could do more with Native Americans.
That could work.
Because we know that's where what the New World is.
We can rest easily because, according to Yoshida, Oda is a super fan of world history and culture.
Yeah.
If we would get a hint now, people would search what that would be next. So that's why we want to keep it a secret for now.
Fine.
That's fair.
Yeah. Question 21. As an aspiring fantasy writer myself, what is your writing process like when thinking of main scenario scenes and storylines? How much do you write a day, and how far in advance do you plot your outlines between story updates? That's a cheat. That is 3 questions baked into one.
I think it's a good question, though.
What?
I think it's quite an interesting question.
Yeah.
To ask.
Yeah.
I think the other questions are more interesting than his first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, and I'm worried because there's a lot of text. First and foremost, I would say that whatever I do wouldn't apply to everyone, so I would remind you to keep that in mind. At first, I decide the core facts, like what is the story about? A key/core message makes things easier to work upon. The key message can be as simple as possible. Example, something you can summarize in one line. Taking Heavensward as an example. This is the story about the war between the dragons and the humans, which lasted for a millennia. And then I elaborate on that and create questions like, what is this war that lasted 1,000 years? Or why this war had to happen? Or what's the difference between dragons and humans? And then I will create answers for that. Then I decide an order at which point these questions are answered. During the process, I can see the roles for the characters that needs to play. For instance, taking Estinian as an example, he was needed as kind of a mean to explain what kind of country Ishgard is and also the point of view from the Ishgardian side, and then we elaborate on those. How much I write depends on how much I can concentrate on writing. If I don't need to work on many other things, I would concentrate on one thing. Back in the time when I was working on Heavensward, I was working on everything. But I can remember that I created 10, that says tank, created 10 quests in one day. As for the main plot, which is 2 years planned beforehand, Yoshida would be the best person to talk about that. So there you go. That's how he works.
Unless he genuinely does mean he created the storyline for all 3 tank quest lines in one day.
I remember from the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 10.
He said 10.
I could believe that he came up with the Paladin one in one day, though.
Yeah.
I created 10
Was
quests
that
in one day. Is that a dig, Yogi?
Yeah. Was that a dig at
the Paladin Heavensward storyline was garbage.
Okay. Okay. Yoshida says, for 14, the team planned out the main scenario right after the recent expansion had been released. And then the team created the 2 years worth of content, including the main scenario quest and also the patch update storyline as well. It's more a top-line detail, not elaborated ones. They do that in the scenario camp. That's what it's called, when we lock ourselves in and come up with ideas for the next expansion plot. Speaking of Shadowbringers, the main theme is to drive away the force of light and bring back the night sky and darkness to the world. This key message was decided in September of 2017. So while the team is working on the regular sort of patch update schedule, they also try to come up with lots of ideas so that they can implement those into the next expansion. In March of 2018, we had another scenario camp where we elaborated more into details. So we're working on a long-term plan and then try to follow through. So we kind of already knew about this, like they go to like a hotel, a love hotel, and they lock themselves in.
Very expensive.
Yes, very expensive.
Oh no. They only pick the cheap hotels, and they rent one room.
Yeah, don't you remember they talked about this? They would like didn't they emphasize that they didn't spend a lot of money? It was all very cheap.
Yeah.
So
they said the room had no windows as well.
Oh no, it's better. That
terrible.
And Yoshi-P buys them all 5 instant ramen, and that's all they're allowed to eat in the whole camp. So you better think quick.
It's weird. How do you even find a hotel room without a window?
I'm looking for a room with no window.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I mean, we've got the janitors covered.
I would never sleep in a hotel without a hotel room
without a room.
A hotel without a room, I would not sleep there. I will take my service. I will take my money elsewhere. Good day.
If you're in a capsule hotel, you're essentially sleeping in a room without windows.
You're essentially
That's true. That's a good point.
So like, I don't think it's that hard to believe that they could find a room without windows in it.
There's like a rack of like 12 capsules. They all got their heads poking out, talking to each other.
Okay, capsule hotels, that's different. I'm talking about like you're just renting a normal hotel room and there's like no window. Like that's
the point I was going to make is in a country where castle hotels are a thing, I don't think it's that hard to believe that a hotel that is so economic with their space would have rooms without windows.
That I would freak out if I ever got it. I'd be like, this is where I die. I'm going to get murdered in this room. This is like it's just a normal hotel room. And then just no window, I'd suffocate. I'd die.
Surely it must be a legal requirement to have a window.
It must be. For a normal hotel, even in Japan where they have capsule hotels, if you're a normal hotel, you need a window.
Surely.
Even if it's just a tiny window that can only fit like your pinky, I need a window.
That's worse.
I need a little.
I think you're being very presumptuous.
So I can like open it up and suck out some air. Don't make gifs. Okay, question 22. Will we see another collaboration between Banri Oda and Natsuko Ishikawa for future main scenario quests? Oda says, unless I don't get fired by Yoshida, of course, I will be working on the main scenario. That said, not only are Ishikawa and I the writers of the main scenario, there are also other people who are working on it. Naoki Yoshida says, for the main scenario, which is a very important part of 14, the writers need a very high skill to develop such stories more than side quests. However, those people who are in the scenario team are gaining experience over time, and while they are working on the patch scenarios, they try to steal some skills from Ishikawa and Oda.
It's a weird way of phrasing it.
The difficult point to cultivate in-game development, and I'm not speaking just for my own career path, is to challenge yourself, and I would like to encourage that as well. If both Oda and Ishikawa really love to work on 14 and create a story, it would benefit the team and also the players would be happy. And if both are motivated, it would be good to hear if they would be working on Final Fantasy 14. What a weird, is like, is he like a little afraid that Oda is gonna resign? It's like, we would love it if you stayed on this game. That said, if both of them would say they would like to take on another challenge outside of 14, it would be important for the team to support each other to close the gap that would be there if certain people would leave the team. We will be very wounded. We will be very damaged if you leave, Oda-san. I don't have any intentions to keep someone in the team, like, knocking them in.
I think he means locking.
Yeah. Knocking them in.
Knocking them up.
Don't leave, please. Are there any plans for Eorzea Encyclopedia 3?
I've not managed to scan the first two well enough yet.
What the fuck? Yeah, I thought you meant that you were illegally scanning them to upload them on the
I thought that's what you meant as well.
No.
Oh no!
I just mean I've not been able to sit down and like read through them. I want to read them like cover to cover.
Right.
I want to read them. I've read bits and pieces of the second one. I've read the first one cover to cover.
It's a big task.
It is a big task to sit down and read the whole thing.
I've already talked about the state of my first lore book. It
upsets me.
It's a tool for me.
Tatters.
Yeah, I use it for work.
I understand.
So
I use it like an actual reference.
It's literally.
Did we do channel updates today, Lucia? No, I don't think
Mela, do I not have fucking 60 episodes of Roar behind me? Yeah, that's right. Let's see. How many videos have you made, Mela? Oh, look. 0. Oh, I see. Oof. What's that? What's that? That audio story? Oh, yeah, you're working on it? Okay, I see. Okay.
See, this is why I don't need all the kill on his work ethic.
Okay. Here's what he said. Would you like to have one? Oda said. Yoshida said. Do you want the new insight? They sort of. This was weird when they.
This was a bit.
Yeah, this was a bit. This was scripted. So you want the new encyclopedia, and then the audience says...
I don't know if I'd give it as much credit to say it was scripted.
And the audience says yes. I thought it said both. like the two people in the audience.
Both audience, the two people staring them down.
Oda says, I will pass that to the publishing department. That said, creating encyclopedia is such a tough work, and I also don't get any revenue.
What?
Yeah, he did say that.
I didn't hear that. Why would I?
It was very strange.
I don't expect him to make an encyclopedia if he gets no revenue for it.
But then Yoshida's like, looking at the gaming industry or other title, it is a real opportunity to create your own book. This book is really nicely decorated, so it's a really good chance for you to do this. Oda says, before I joined, I used to work for a publishing company, and I was a writer, and I had no experience to release my own book with a nice embossed effect on it. Being in the team and working on the encyclopedia already made my dream come true. Yoshida says, if you can promise that it won't affect the progress of the main scenario, you could work on the next encyclopedia. Oda says, let me carefully think about it. There you go.
Sounds stressful.
That is the end.
Hooray.
Yay.
I don't know how to end this.
It was a very good panel.
Yeah.
It gave us, like, at some point it feels like you're not getting any information, but the ways in which you're not getting information provides you with the information you need.
Yeah.
Or what to expect, at least.
Uh-huh. That's the end of the show.
we have reached the end.
Wow, very.
It is. We are running overtime. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes. Minimum eye level.
Oh, fucking shit.
Oh, let's not bother this week.
I don't even know where I put
Why? We succeeded last week. Why are you so down?
Because it's...
There we go.
I do need to stress this quite sincerely, Yogi. It's not fun.
Isn't it?
Not when we're doing only the cursed dungeons that we've suffered through like 6 times already.
There should be 3.
I get a lot of satisfaction. I got a lot of satisfaction out of clearing Sastasha hard with only 5 minutes left.
I feel like Sastasha, out of all the cursed dungeons, is the most doable though, because last time we also did it with 3 people.
I think Wanderer's Palace hard is more doable as well.
That one's quite doable. It's Amdapur. If he picks that up and says Amdapur keep, then I think I'm gonna take tomorrow. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna kill him. Goodbye. It's Amdapur keep, isn't it? I don't want to get. I'm not going there again. I'm not going there again.
Yay!
Guess we'll be doing Amdapur, but we won't use a modifier this time, so we might actually make it.
We won't make it.
I mean, we will probably make it. I will probably make it. I mean, we will.
You've done 3-man Amdapur before and you failed.
Yeah, twice.
Thanks, Georgi. That makes it better. Look forward to that tomorrow.
You only failed 3-man Amdapur once. Don't worry that much.
Georgi, we failed a 3-man Amdapur, I think, like a few weeks ago, didn't we?
No.
Oh God,
I feel like
a few weeks ago.
I feel like we've failed it quite recently.
We failed it when we tried to do it as Blue Mages.
Oh, right, as Blue Mage Run, wasn't it? Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, brilliant.
Well, that's the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in this week for Speakers of Idlin episode 158. Remember to follow us on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, Twitch.tv, Twitter.com.
Facebook.com/Speakers of Idlin. I think, was that it?
It was never that. Or was it? I don't know. Follow us on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, Twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIdlin, YouTube.com/SpeakersXIV, Discord in chat if you're watching live to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us Mogmail, SpeakersXIV.com/Mogmail. We'll move Mogmail to the top again next week because we have so many Mogmails. So we'll get to that next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the post show if you're watching live. And if you're watching on demand, then the post show has already happened and it's too late. Bye.
Bye.